Welcome back. It's Tim with the University of Vinyl. This is my ongoing jazz-focused series of videos called Deep Focus Jazz. Last episode, in episode 4, I talked about trying to put in an effort to find affordable Blue Note titles, and I kind of focused on finding reissues from the early 1970s. I'm quite fond of the black B logo for Blue Notes, and I focused on a few titles in that video. Since that time, I have been lucky enough to find 3 original titles. These are from, the Liberty era, the late 1960s moving into 1970. In fact, the first record I want to talk about is what you just saw. And I'm really pleased with this one. This is the 1970. It was recorded in 1969. This was put out as a tone poet in 2020. And The Prisoner, Herby Hancock, with what? I think it's called a nonette, a 9-piece band, including some fantastic players. Hubert Laws, of course, on flute. And then I think a very important contributor to this record is Joe Henderson on tenor. And Joe Henderson just sounds amazing on this record. But so does Herby. And Herby is playing acoustic and electric. This is a kind of an overtly political album. It was, recorded in 1969, the year after Martin Luther King was assassinated. The record is dedicated to Martin Luther King, and the title, Herby takes some really nice turns in I Have a Dream, which clocks in at over 10 minutes long. But yeah, the story about this record, I was in a Second and Charles, which is, I think, they're associated with secondhand books. And this thing was in the Second and Charles cracks me up because it's very disorganized. There are prices all over the map. You'll see the same title for $8 and $29 or higher. This was in an employee had left a rack, kind of a little wheelie thing, that obviously they were supposed to be shelving some incoming records. That's another pet peeve. They used to have a new arrivals bin. They no longer have that. Anyway, I saw this cart and immediately kind of made a beeline. It was like, hey, let's see what's in here. And sure enough, this was in there, and it had a brand new price sticker because they date stamp everything. Within, several days of when I was there, $7, and I think it was either 75 or 85 cents. So I may have taken a photo of that, and I'll show it if I have it. But come on. An original Blue Note, Van Gelder in the Dead Wax. This is a really cool record. It kind of has a little bit of a loungy feel to it, but very well. They're all, how many songs are on here? 1, 2, there are only 5 tracks on here. Produced by Duke Pearson, that's interesting. All the arrangements, all the titles, all the songs are by Herby. And there is some very sophisticated playing. There's some very sophisticated arrangements here. A 9-piece band, as previously mentioned. This is a real keeper, and if you can find an original, the Tone Poet is going for, I think they just did a repress last year, so you could get the Tone Poet for probably between $30 and $40, but if I'm going to find this in the wild for $8, it's a no-brainer. Okay, the next title is a 1968 Blue Note, and it's a Bobby Hutcherson title called Total Eclipse. This just came out, I believe, as another Tone Poet. Maybe earlier this year. I was in Las Vegas 3 weeks ago for Dead & Company at the Spear with my wife. I managed to find 1 hour to do a little bit of record shopping. I'm still working on kind of a wrap-up video for that whole trip. So I won't go into too much detail, but I will tell you I found this record for $30. It took a little bit of negotiating that I will talk about later. But this is a very cool record. Also very sophisticated. And you know those iconic where Bobby is got that hat and he's staring off, I think it's Harold Land, in the one photo called, what's it called, San Francisco. Then there's like 2 other photos where he's wearing the same hat. This is a fun record, but like I said, very sophisticated, different time signatures in this record. There are 5 tracks on this. Very importantly, we have Joe Chambers on drums. He really shines here, as does Harold Land, and as does, of course, Hutcherson on vibes. A very cool record, and I would much rather pick this up in the wild on the original Blue Note label. This came with the original inner sleeve as well. A little bit of water damage. I think that's where the negotiation came into play. But there you have it. A very nice record to have. Here is another record that I believe has been given the Tone Poet treatment over the last several years. Lou Donaldson, Alligator Bagaloo. This is a really cool record. This has got a ton of swing and swagger in it. This is you can just picture kind of a Mad Men scene. This is a cocktail party record if I've ever heard one. It's fantastic. And very importantly on this record, one of the main players here, Lonnie Smith on Hammond B3, he really goes off on not the title track, the first song on side 2, Aw Shucks. The reason he goes off is because he wrote the song. So looking at the credits in a little more detail, a very vibey record. It kind of, you put this on and it just kind of sets the mood. This is a early Friday evening record where you are, kind of kicking off your shoes. You are ready for the weekend. And this is definitely recommended listening. If you can't find an original, I guess pick up the Tone Poet because they are very, very nice. But like I said in my episode previously, I am making a concerted effort to get originals or reissues. I'm focused on affordability. I'm not going to go out and spend $200, $300, $400 for Blue Notes, but you can see right here that this was purchased for $35. The record is in near mint condition, and I picked this up actually in Boulder a week ago. So there you have it. Alligator Bagaloo, Lou Donaldson, and Players. That's it. I'm going to continue to sporadically put out, jazz titles that I'm interested in, items of interest, cool finds out in the wild. Hope you like this one, and stay tuned for more. Take care.